You wrote about losing your virginity to a guy in Toluca Lake.
I did?
Yeah. You did.
I was growing up, but he wasn't so interested in that, you know? He didn't like grown-up women. He liked younger women.
In the shimmering world of fame, where applause fades faster than love, few have danced through heartbreak and hope quite like Cher. For decades, she was the untouchable goddess of pop. Her voice fierce, her spirit defiant, her image immortal. But behind the sequins and the spotlight lived a woman who searched endlessly for something real. As she turns 79, Cher looks back, not with bitterness, but with tenderness, for the 6 men who could have been her forever. Each left a mark, some sweet, some sorrowful, all unforgettable. Tonight, we step into the quiet corners of her life, where fame met feeling, and the woman beneath the legend finally whispers, "These were the men I could have built a life with." Number 1. Sonny Bono. Before the world knew Cher, she was Cherilyn Sarkisian, a dreamy teenager adrift in 1960s Los Angeles. Her catalyst was Sonny Bono, a man 11 years her senior with a hustler's spirit and an unshakable belief in her star quality. He was not merely a partner, he was the architect of her destiny. He shaped her name, her sound, and her onstage persona, molding raw potential into the polished phenomenon of Sonny and Cher. Their signature hit, "I Got You Babe," was the sonic embodiment of their symbiotic partnership, a public promise of us against the world. Their love story, played out in matching outfits on television, was a brilliant blend of genuine affection and calculated performance. Yet, the professional control that forged their success began to poison their marriage. The man who built her public image maintained an iron grip on her private life. Cher has stated in interviews that Sonny managed everything from her friendships to her finances, keeping her earnings in his name. This was a strategic system of dependency. "He needed to control me because he was afraid I'd leave," she told People in 1975. Her tumultuous departure in 1974 was, therefore, not a simple rebellion, but a brutal act of survival. The creation breaking free from her creator. Despite the pain, the shadow he cast was long and complex. She never denied his foundational role. His belief was the bedrock of her life. His tragic death in 1998 brought this conflict into sharp relief. A grieving Cher performed on stage just days later, telling the audience, "He was the most unforgettable character I've ever met." Sonny Bono remains the ultimate paradox, the visionary who gave her the world and the jailer who locked her away from it. He built the wings that allowed her to soar, but only after she found the courage to break the bars of her gilded cage. Number 2. Gregg Allman. Fresh from her emancipation from Sonny, Cher found herself drawn to his polar opposite in 1975. Gregg Allman, the Southern rock poet whose soulful voice concealed a tempest of personal demons. Where Sonny was control, Gregg was chaos. A brilliant musician whose life was a whirlwind of heroin, alcohol, and the restless ghosts of the road. Their connection was immediate and primal, a collision of two wounded stars seeking solace in each other's orbits. They married just 9 days after her divorce from Sonny was finalized, a whirlwind romance that stunned the public and signaled Cher's desperate search for something real beyond the polished facade of her previous life. Their union, however, quickly became a battlefield where love waged a hopeless war against addiction. Cher, emerging from one form of dependency, now found herself playing the role of savior in another. She tried to impose order on his chaos, creating a stable home and urging him toward rehabilitation. Their collaborative album, To the Hard Way, was a commercial and critical failure that mirrored their discord, mocked by critics as Allman and Woman. The studio sessions were tense, revealing the fundamental mismatch of their artistic energies and the deep strain his substance abuse placed on their relationship. Cher later reflected to Rolling Stone, "I thought I could help him, but you can't save someone who doesn't want to be saved." They divorced in 1979, but the bond, forged in shared turmoil, never fully severed. Years later, she would call him the one I couldn't fix, but never stopped loving. When Greg died in 2017 from complications of liver cancer, Cher's public tribute was raw with grief. "Words are impossible. Guitars weep. I've lost something that felt like home." Greg Allman was the storm Cher willingly walked into, a passionate, painful education in the limits of love. He taught her that the deepest affection cannot provide shelter from another person's self-destruction, a lesson in letting go that would fortify her for the challenges yet to come. Number 3. Val Kilmer. In the early 1980s, at the peak of her reinvention as a solo music icon and Oscar-nominated actress, Cher found herself unexpectedly disarmed by Val Kilmer, a rising star 12 years her junior. He was different from anyone she had known, not a mentor like Sonny, nor a project like Greg. Val was her equal in creative passion and intellectual curiosity, completely unintimidated by her monumental fame. Their connection was immediate and intense, a vibrant collision of two formidable artistic spirits. Cher told US Weekly that Val was so young, so full of ideas, and he made me laugh like a kid again. Their relationship became a private world of deep conversations about art and philosophy, a sanctuary from Hollywood's glare. Yet, their powerful wills also created volatility, with passionate reconciliations following heated disagreements. They were twin flames, burning brightly, but not always steadily. When their romantic relationship ultimately ended, it transformed rather than dissolved. Cher has often stated, "When I love someone, I love them forever." And this proved true with Val. Decades later, when he faced a grueling battle with throat cancer, Cher became a steadfast friend and advocate, offering public support and private strength during his most challenging years. Her loyalty showcased the depth of a bond that had evolved beyond romance into something enduring and profound. Val Kilmer remained the beautiful challenge, a relationship that defied easy categorization. He was the mirror who reflected her own strength back at her, proving that the most complex connections can become the most meaningful. Their story demonstrates that while some loves change form, they never truly leave the heart's landscape. Number 4. Tom Cruise. In the mid-1980s, at a White House event for dyslexia awareness, Cher found an unexpected connection with a then less famous Tom Cruise. Both had struggled with the learning disorder, and their initial conversation revealed a surprising common ground away from the glare of Hollywood. Cher recalled to Oprah that he was shy and sweet, a stark contrast to the intense movie star persona that would soon define him globally. In this brief, quiet moment between two rising superstars, they found a genuine, unguarded connection. Their romance was a short-lived interlude, a calm before the storm of his impending superstardom. "He wasn't famous when we met," Cher explained, "but when he became the Tom Cruise, it was hard to keep that normality we had." As Top Gun propelled him to unprecedented fame, the simple connection they had forged became unsustainable amidst his meteoric rise and their diverging career paths. Though their time together was brief, Cher has always remembered it with particular fondness. She once playfully ranked him in the top 5 lovers ever in a 2013 interview, a light-hearted comment that hinted at a deeper, genuine affection. Tom Cruise represents a poignant what-if in Cher's story, a glimpse of a simpler connection that proved impossible for two people destined for singular fame. He remains the charming stranger who slipped away, leaving behind not heartbreak, but the warm memory of a respite from the pressures of fame. A brief moment when they were just two people finding understanding in each other's company before the world claimed them both completely. Number 5. Rob Camilletti. By 1986, Cher had lived entire lifetimes in the spotlight. She had been a muse, a superstar, and a savior. Yet, she found something she hadn't realized she was missing in Rob Camilletti, a 22-year-old bagel maker from Queens. The tabloids cruelly dubbed him the Bagel Boy, focusing on their 18-year age difference. But behind the headlines, Rob offered Cher something priceless: the ordinary. He was grounded, kind, and entirely unfazed by her celebrity, seeing the woman behind the legend. For 3 years, they built a peaceful world away from the chaos of fame. Cher has often said, "He didn't care who I was. He saw me, not the image." They shared quiet nights at home, rode motorcycles along the California coast, and he stood by her during her Oscar-winning triumph in Moonstruck, providing a steady, grounding presence amid the whirlwind. In his embrace, she wasn't a goddess or a savior, but simply a woman loved for who she was. While external pressures and the challenges of their different worlds eventually led to their separation in 1989, the split was not acrimonious. Cher has spoken of him with profound tenderness over the years, even calling him the love of my life in a moment of reflection. Rob Camilletti's legacy is not one of drama or passion, but of peace. He was the sanctuary she found after a lifetime of storms, the man who proved that the most profound love could feel not like a raging fire, but like coming home. Number 6. Richie Sambora. By 1989, Cher stood as an undisputed icon, a veteran of music, film, and television. It was at this pinnacle that she found a true equal in Richie Sambora, the charismatic lead guitarist of Bon Jovi. Their connection was immediate, forged in the shared language of musicians who understood the unique pressures and absurdities of life at the top. This was not a relationship of mentor and protege, but a partnership of peers. They were both survivors of the rock and roll circus, and in each other they found a rare sanctuary of mutual understanding. Their romance was a vibrant blend of creative synergy and personal solace. They wrote music together, finding common ground in their craft, and offered each other comfort from the relentless demands of fame. Cher once noted that Richie was one of the few men who truly understood what it meant to live inside the storm. He admired her resilience, calling her a warrior, while she was drawn to the vulnerability and warmth he hid beneath his rock star bravado. Their bond was a powerful, magnetic force, built on the respect of two artists who had each fought their way to the top. Ultimately, the very careers that connected them also pulled them apart. As Bon Jovi's global touring schedule intensified and Cher's own solo projects demanded her attention, the geographical and professional distance became insurmountable. They parted ways in the early 1990s, yet the split was marked by a lasting, deep-seated respect. Cher has always spoken of Richie with genuine affection, acknowledging the unique harmony they shared. Richie Sambora was not a project or a protector. He was a reflection. In him, Cher saw the same resilient, scarred, and passionate artist she had worked a lifetime to become, making their connection one of the most balanced and understanding of her life. The spotlight has always found Cher, but her true story unfolded in the quiet spaces between the encores. It is a narrative not just of a goddess, but of a woman who, with a fearless heart, navigated the complex terrain of love again and again. From the foundational partnership with Sonny to the peaceful harbor of Rob, each man was a chapter in her endless journey of self-discovery. She never sought a man to complete her, but rather experienced each love as a different color in the vast spectrum of her life. The heartbreaks were not defeats. They were lessons that fortified her legendary resilience. The joys were not fleeting. They became verses in her anthems of survival. Cher's legacy teaches us that to love deeply is to live fully, and that our greatest strength is often forged in the fires of our most vulnerable moments. Which of these men do you believe truly held the key to her heart? Was it the architect, the storm, the challenge, the respite, the sanctuary, or the mirror? Share your thoughts and keep the conversation going in the comments below. And for more deep dives into the lives of your favorite icons, don't forget to follow us